Thank you very much for joining me. How you been? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Steve Renazizi. I'm the guy fucking lit. I'm the guy, Steve Renazizi. Lit. I'm the guy fucking lit. I'm the guy, Steve Renazizi.
What's the odds, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the podcast with Steve Renazizi. That is me. I am in your universe via Skype right now in my bunker in New York, joining my friends Lucas and Brenton in studio in Burbank, along with Aaron running the ones and twos on the board. We're getting a lot of things. We've figured them all out now. Hopefully, the Google
Learned a lot
passwords,
about Steve and his
Skype.
fetishes.
Well, it's not really fetish. We have to have a lot of different passwords for a lot of different things, and some of them are grosser than others. But anyway, the point is this: we're with you now. I'm excited. It's July 15th, 14th. What is it?
15th.
Today is the
15th.
July 15th, 2021. I'm in New York at the place that I'm going to be staying at for a little bit here before we go move into our house, and then you guys are in the studio. Thanks for manning the ship and the operation there. I think I'm being heard and seen, right?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Okay, good.
I see you. I got the YouTube page pulled up so I can take questions.
Okay, great. People can ask questions via YouTube. I think that, it could be wrong, but that TV's hung a little like this. It's down from right to left on my side. That's what I noticed from just seeing what I see here.
Do you want me to get a levelator out on my phone? I have a levelator
well, I can
app
do it
on
after.
my phone.
I'm just,
okay.
I'm noticing things for next week, things that we need to address. So, we had a Major League All-Star game, a home run derby.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a couple NBA playoff finals games. We had the British Open's going on right now. I'm in the middle of watching that. Surprise, surprise! If it's a major, you know who's at the top of the leaderboard? Louis Oosthuizen will always play well in the majors if he's healthy, and he's right now as we are doing this. What'd you say, Brenton? I didn't hear you. Say it louder.
You were talking about Brooks Koepka, and you've never mentioned Louis. Like, you're saying that like this is a thing that you say for every tournament. You've never said that.
Sounds like a made-up name.
If it's a major, he's always at the top. That's the first time you've mentioned him in that context.
He was one of Court's picks for the U.S.
that
Open,
makes sense.
And he played well.
Okay, that makes sense. You were saying it like you say that. That's cool.
He's a perennial leaderboard person
on these majors. Not on your lineup.
He is on my lineup. As a matter of fact, he is. For my weekly fantasy league, I picked Jordan Spieth, Louis Oosthuizen, who are 1 and 2 right now. I got Brooks Koepka, who was -2 or -1, I think, on the day. I got who else do I have? Oh, my wild card's John Rahm. He didn't have a great day, but he's +1. So I'm doing fine. In my daily fantasy, I just missed. I'm just outside the money right now, but my lineup is solid. These guys are making the cut.
Yeah, as long as they make the cut.
Last week I came in first place in one of the DraftKings things I did where it was for the Scottish Open. I picked Thomas Dietrich, who won, and out of 100 players, I came in first and I won $85.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah is right. $85. So very excited about that.
Got to start doing those cash games. And anyone who's listening, if you're doing DraftKings, do the 50-50s. If you know what you're doing, make your money.
In the double ups?
Well, you just double up then.
Yeah. But I put in
$2.
Dude, over time, you're going to have a huge bankroll. You know what you're talking about. You know more than the casual gambler who just is doing it for their fix. So take their money.
I understand that, but I also don't like the fact that this is still times of COVID. People backed out last minute. Bubba Watson backed out last minute. So, I like to do my picks right before the night before, so you know who's pretty much going to be in and out unless something happens overnight. But, for $2 to come up with 80, that's a fucking great return.
Yeah, 100%.
40 to 1 on my money. That's unbelievable. So I'm fine with that. Okay.
It's a nice trip
I'm doing
to the
well
sugar
this week
factory.
so far. To the sugar. No, that's not even. That's the tip at the sugar factory. Sugar factory is not cheap, dude. It's not at all. So yeah, that's going on right now. But it's in. Guess where it's being held right now? By the way, guess the name of the town in England it's being held in.
Sussex.
Close. No, it does begin with an S. It is. They are delicious.
Strudel.
There are many different forms of them.
Is there a town in England called Strudel?
No, it's called Sandwich. Sandwich, England. That's where Royal St. George's is. Sandwich. I don't know if it's spelled the exact same way, but it's Sandwich. So
yeah, it's spelled the exact same way. Sandwich.
Exact same
England.
way, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Which has been very funny every time they come on. They go, "Welcome back to Sandwich," and Jonah's like, "Whoa." Dude, everybody must love sandwiches there. And I'm like, they probably don't.
I'm looking up right
They're probably
now.
Sick of.
It's named after John Montagu, 4th Earl of Sandwich, an 18th century English aristocrat.
Mm-hmm.
It is said that he ordered his valet to bring him meat tucked between 2 pieces of bread. All right.
Really?
Yeah.
And that was the origination of the sandwich.
Yep.
Meat, whole, like he probably just wanted the meat. And he didn't want those filthy animals to like put their hands on it. So he probably goes, put 2 pieces of bread, hold the bread on the outside. And I bet you when they brought it to him, he immediately ripped those pieces of bread off, threw them away to his dogs or whatever, and then just ate the meat that was in the middle. The original sandwich is probably created that way. Dude, they did some fucking horrible shit. Back, you know what they used to in England when this whole sport started? I mean, people talk about it being a rich, elitist white sport. This is why it is. They used to hire 2 caddies. When you first started playing fucking golf, like in the 1800s, you hired 2 caddies, right? One to carry your clubs. What did the other one do? He covered himself in jelly to attract the flies and the mosquitoes so they wouldn't eat you. They were called Jelly Boys. Or Jam Boys or something like that. Jam Boys. They would cover themselves in molasses or something so that the fucking mosquitoes would be attracted to them and fucking lay off you. How crazy is that? Jam Boys.
Wow.
Insane.
So if you ask me to caddy, but you also have someone else there, I'm probably going to leave.
What'd you say?
If I had to caddy for you, and I see that you also have someone else there, I'm probably going to go. I'm not going to be your jelly boy.
No, you're my jam boy every single day of the week, dude. Okay? You're low to the ground, so that's where all the bugs and they'll be very attracted to you. They'll think you're one of their own, and they'll just
fly,
mount you.
Steve.
I bet you there's an ant out there big enough to take you down, like just and then straddle you and fuck you.
This is according to the internet, but when the game was over, the jam boy got to keep the jam he was wearing to take home to his family.
Oh, that's nice.
Do you see that? Do you see that? What givers we are as rich white people?
Yeah.
The kind of, I mean, we're not all bad.
I could feed my family.
We could bring back
Rich
jam
white
boys.
males are not all bad, okay? Sometimes we do good things. We give the jelly to the boy to take home to his family. You know how many sandwiches they can make off that? And who cares how many flies are in the middle of that jelly and jam and molasses?
Protein.
They didn't even give him they probably kept the jar so that they can, like the rich white guys, like, give me the jar back. I want to put more jelly into it later on. I'm telling you, we're givers, and I'm glad all this stuff's coming out. Sandwiches we gave to the world, Sandwich England, and now Jelly Boys, Jam Boys. So enjoy the British Open this weekend, or as I like to just call it the correct way, the Open. It's just called the Open.
The British Open.
But that's what, Brenton the fucking dunce has to call it so he knows which one's which. The U.S. Open, the British Open.
Scottish Open.
Right?
There's a lot of opens.
Scottish Open last week. Irish Open. Speaking of Open, there was a match last week. Bryson DeChambeau and Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady and Phil Mickelson. Did either of you watch it? It was last Wednesday, I think, right after we filmed. It was called The Match. It was on TBS. It was in Montana, I believe.
Yeah, it was in Montana.
Beautiful.
I saw that Tom Brady lost. So he is human.
Tom Brady and Phil Mickelson lost, yes, to the young guys. They all played pretty good golf. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is exactly what you would expect, just fucking calm, cool, and collected. Exactly what you would expect. But this past weekend they played in Lake Tahoe, and Mike Modano, it's always hockey players, always ex-hockey players, are sick golfers, made a double eagle. So he's on a par 5. His second shot he puts in the fucking hole.
Nice.
I don't know if you guys can pull that up. Probably not. Doesn't matter. But it was insane to watch. A double eagle is not easy to do at any level.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. He had a wicked slap shot, so it's
ridiculous.
Kind of the same motion. So I'm sure he can drive the ball pretty well.
Court plays a lot of golf with hockey guys. He's friends with Stamkos and Nate Thompson and all these guys, and they hit the ball a fucking mile because it is pretty much a slap shot sort of motion, even more than baseball. But the one thing I noticed, they were talking about all weekend long, it's have fun, they're in Lake Tahoe, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden they were like, oh, there's not a lot of boats on the water. Do you know why? Because there's no fucking water in Lake Tahoe.
Drought?
Yeah. Big time, guys. You guys are in big time trouble out there. They said that there was no water. The water's like they're not even letting boats get into the Nevada side of Lake Tahoe because the water's too low. Nobody talked about that all weekend long. No water in the lake. What's happening?
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it.
You're both staring at me like, what? Like you didn't know.
Yeah. No, I don't read the bad news.
No, all right. Well, there's no water in Lake Tahoe.
They weren't talking about Lake Tahoe on SportsCenter.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of sports this weekend, but guys, I mean, it's called Lake Tahoe. It's one of the biggest lakes in the world, and it's going to be fucking empty pretty soon.
We'll figure it out.
That doesn't alarm anyone? Doesn't set off any bells anywhere?
We'll figure it out, Steve.
These rich fucks up in Harrah's Resort and Casino gambling away money, and there's no water in the lake.
Yeah, but there's plenty of tequila.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We're good.
That is a fun one. I've never gotten I got invited twice to that one, but it was always shooting the league. And then once the league was over, I wasn't famous enough to go anymore, so they didn't invite me anymore when I was available to go. But that's the one I do want to go play in because it's the most televised. I know I'll hit good shots, and I probably could win the fucking thing. So even though there's a lot of good golfers out there, like better than Court. But I would probably come out of nowhere and win the whole thing. Except the chance that I have will they'll invite me when the lake is dried up and it's now whole Tahoe. Am I on a delay or is this just not funny?
No. We laughed. You're on a bit of a delay, probably.
No, I don't think it is. I think I'm just not funny. Speaking of not funny, I'll be, if not funny, this weekend at Governor's Comedy Club on Long Island, where I live now, in front of my fucking neighbors. So that's great for the ego. I'm doing one show Friday, one show Saturday. I think they're 7 o'clock. So come on down. Get tickets if you're in the Long Island area or the New York City area. And next weekend, Ari Shaffir's there, too. So he's going to be back-to-back fun weekends at Governor's Comedy Club. Tickets at SteveRannazzisi.com. Did you guys watch the McGregor
15
fight?
Minutes in.
Wait, what'd you say?
Oh, just plugging 15 minutes in.
I like to vary my plug time. Most times I do it at the end of the show.
Replace ad reads with your dates.
Whenever I feel like it. Whenever I see the easy plug to plug, I'm going to plug. I'll plug away. It's my fucking podcast, and it's free.
And Austin Jackson
I'll do the whole fucking show.
Romo would
wreck
wreck you, Steve. That's from listener Austin Jackson. Tony Romo. Apparently, he's really good at golf.
No, Tony Romo's a different level. Tony Romo, yes, he could probably, if he really concentrated on it, could do the senior tour for real.
Yeah, he would not only defeat you, he would also tell you exactly where you were going to hit the ball before you hit the ball there.
I'll tell you what though. You'll see my name on the leaderboard, and whoever wrote that, tell them that. Hey, YouTube commenter, you'll see my name on the first page of the leaderboard. That I guarantee you.
Yeah.
I'm not Larry the Cable Guy. Okay? I'm not Ray Romano. They're successful. Okay? They don't have time to play golf. I do. Okay? I'm going to smoke them.
But to segue...
I'm not making friends either.
Did not watch the fight, but I called it. I said he was going to lose.
Well, I mean, yeah. I guess, yeah.
He's not a fighter anymore.
Lost, but...
He's not a fighter anymore. He's a gimmick now because his head's not 100% in the fighting game. He's got kids. He's got a liquor brand. He's doing other things. He's a celebrity.
Well, I mean, none of that caused his ankle to snap off.
No, but he wasn't going to win that fight.
I mean, look, who knows what would have happened? You really don't know. You honestly, I mean, who knows? Fucking Poirier could have slipped the next round and twisted his ankle and broke his ankle. Who knows? I'm not saying I would have been able to say definitively. It wasn't like it was the 4th round and he was getting pummeled for fucking 3.5 rounds and that's what happened. It was the first round. It wasn't even. He pretty much lost that round by a decent margin. But, going forward. But the leg snapping thing just adds a lot more complexity to the situation because you don't really know what would have happened. It didn't really answer any questions. Mm-hmm. You don't know if he's going to come back and be as healthy as he was before. He probably won't. I mean, I don't know. We've seen remarkable things with these ankles. Alex Smith, we've talked about, is playing fucking professional football again.
Yeah.
Fighters have had this happen before. Chris Weidman had this happen. His leg wrapped around someone, and he came back and fought. Not as well as he did before. I'm sure it's a pretty brutal injury to come back from. But will he, based on everything that was going into it, the comments and the critiques about him being not into it or not as motivated, you'll find out because, again, it's like the recovery is not going to be. This is not like a couple days or a couple weeks. This is going to be months and months and months before he can even begin to do what he normally does to train for something else. So if he really wants to do this still, he will do it because he's not going to do it if he doesn't want to do it. Does that make sense? He's not going to go through everything just to kind of he'll train and be able to come back so he can walk and be somewhat of an athlete. But if he's not going to fight ever again, then
well, he's worth around $200 million, so there's not a whole lot of motivation to come back, especially if it's hard to rehab and get back into the fighting shape that he was once in. So I think he's done.
He's not The Rock. The problem with these athletes when they retire with this much money, the Mike Tysons, I'll leave him out of it. The Floyd Mayweathers, even the Oscar De La Hoyas, the guys with tons and tons of money that you're like, they should be fine. They all continue to either fight or promote in a way, but they, once you can't fight anymore, none of these guys transition the way like Dwayne Johnson did into like a movie star. Conor McGregor is not going to be a movie star. He's not going to be an action star. He's not going to be a Schwarzenegger. So $200 million seems like forever kind of money, but when you continue to live a lifestyle, you can go through it pretty quickly. I'm sure that whiskey is going to be, a thing that's as popular as he is popular. I'm sure as his popularity begins to wane down, if he doesn't fight anymore, then the whiskey everything starts to flow, downward. So what I'm saying is, unless you have the kind of ability to transition into entertainment and where you can continue to have be able to make that much money, not having to risk your body, by being in movies and TV shows and things like that, then that's the only way you can kind of sustain without having to fight. But I think McGregor's like, I want to be on top. He's sort of addicted to that. He wants to be considered and made sure everyone knows that he's like the top paid athlete and this and that. So those things, they will lead you to make a comeback or try to get healthy so that he can continue to do it, because he knows it's the only way he's going to make money. He's not going to be anything else. So look at fucking Floyd Mayweather. He's fighting YouTube people now. Now, granted, he beat him up and he made $20 million or I don't know how much he made, and that's most people would say, hey, that's enough money to do it, but he knows that's the only way he can continue some sort of revenue stream. Well, because as big of a talker as Floyd Mayweather is, no one's giving him a script and being like, hey, can you do this or be in the show or I mean, they tried it with Mike Tyson, and it sort of worked. It's The Hangover. They put him. He sort of kind of had these stunt roles here and there, and then did the Broadway show. So, but he's not like a mainstream movie person that makes like $8 to $10 or $15, $20 million a year doing entertainment. He doesn't. Mm-hmm. He's got a weed farm. That's where he probably makes most of his money now. So these guys need to have some sort of ability to either fight or promote or do something else. And I just, right now, we don't know what that is for for Conor McGregor. I don't know what that looks like.
I'm sure, though, he'll have HBO or Showtime follow him around when he's training and recovering from this injury to document it, and it'll probably get very good ratings.
Sure. I would watch it,
as
long as it's like I'm into a struggle and watching people try to come back from things you think they can't. Totally into that. But it was sort of anticlimactic. I didn't buy it because I had we were out. So I didn't have a chance. I was going to be able to watch all of it, and I wanted to just buy it for the one fight. Kind of feel lucky I got away with it, but I would have had I been home all night. I would have sat there and watched it. But it's not. I'm not happy to see. People are happy that he's fucking broken, and that's not. Again, I know he's not a great guy. He said some awful shit. He said some stuff he probably wishes he didn't said. The Poirier thing with his wife, and I'm going to get you. I don't even know what that means. I think that's just sort of like you build up all the. I mean, what do I know? I'm not a fucking fighter, but you spend months and months training, you build everything up, and then like something happens where you don't really get the chance to release it, whether it be a quick knockout or something terrible, and you still have that fucking vent. The rest of your body, as bad as your ankle must feel, the rest of your body is still in that fight mode. So he just, when you interview someone after, I'm sure Rogan knows, it's like sometimes they're saying things that are not necessarily in their right mind because they're still in that fight sort of sensibility. So, whatever. I'm sure in his heart, deep down, McGregor wishes no harm to Dustin Poirier, his wife, anybody else, and I'm sure Dustin Poirier feels the same way too. Will they fight again? I hope so, and I hope that everybody gets healthy. But yeah, I saved a little bit of cash by not. Did you guys bet on it or no?
No, I don't bet on UFC.
Yeah.
No. Okay. I haven't bet on anything since the golf, but before that, Julian with his what's that fucking country that he taught, Switzerland over Spain in soccer. That was a bad taste in my mouth. That $10,000 I lost because that son of a bitch, Julian.
He was right about Italy winning the whole thing. So
yeah, he said they were probably going to win.
Credit
over
where
England
credit is due.
I did watch that. Did you watch that? I watched the last 8 minutes.
That's the one thing I hate about. Like, I love watching soccer at that level. But the fact that almost every game ends in penalties is the stupidest fucking thing, and it's such a disgrace to the sport. Because it was such a good match, and then it just ends on penalties.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but I think, I don't know. The argument against it is like after a while, these guys are so fucking shot that you're just going to see garbage version of soccer, and some stupid, person being tired sort of dumb play will result in another team. Or would you rather everyone take a breath and take 5 of your best players versus 5 of our best and put them up against each other's goalie and see what's what? I mean, I'm not necessarily, again, I don't give a fuck. I watch this thing once every 2 years or whenever these things come around. But, I'm interested in debating, people's other sports rules and shit. And it does seem sort of stupid to end it like that. But, I mean, how long do you want to go on for? What's the proper amount of time?
Until there's a winner. Just like in baseball, just like in the Stanley Cup Finals, they don't go to a shootout. Just let them play. Keep giving them more substitutions.
There is a good argument to that.
And then, maybe guys who were subbed out earlier in the game, change the rule, make it longer, they can come back in at a certain point. So then they're fresher. Like they have rules. You only get 3 or 4 substitutions the whole match. So up that and change it so you can bring guys back in.
They seem very strict on the way that they run their program over there.
They're never going to change it.
I feel terrible though.
But it sucks.
I do like the fact that you have to think of like a lineup of who you're going to put out there in the order you want to put your peak penalty kicker people out there. Mm-hmm. Like, where would you put your best guy? I think 4th, right? 1st or 4th seems like the sweet spot. If you put him fifth, then you're like you might not get a chance to use him.
Yeah.
So first or fourth is where I'm thinking, because it seems like the fourth goal is always either it's the tide turning one. Usually, it's either we're going to win this thing or we're going to continue this thing. So who knows? I think I'm happy for Italy. I really like the whole England's with the three black kickers that they had or the two black kickers, they got so many death threats. It's like
three.
I mean,
unfortunately,
I was like, oh god.
All three of them were black.
As soon as I saw them, I was like, oh.
Got just reamed by the British, the white man. It was a shame, but more people were rallying and supporting them than not. And England's going to be fine. They're going to come back in the World Cup. Now. They're a very good team.
Yeah, of course.
And the one kid was only 19 or something.
19 years old, dude, going out there. Fucking, I mean, the whole thing on your back is probably like, oh, shit. Oh, come on. I mean, they're so talented, but I find it fascinating the way they can, what they choose, the way the goalie just stands there and just picks a side and just jumps from that side. It's it just seems very sort of flip of the coinish.
Well,
it's tough.
They do a lot of research. Pitchers know the hot and cold zones for a hitter. They look at every single penalty kick a player's ever taken, and they memorize basically, okay, this guy in the World Cup in 2016 kicked it here, so I'm going to jump here. Or I know his tendencies are to go here, so I know that he went there, and now he's thinking that I know he went there, so I'm going to go here because he's probably going here to try to trick me. So there's a lot of chess going on, and they do their research.
I would probably just lay down and cry if I was the goalie. Just stand in the middle and I don't know what I would do. It seems like a really lose-lose situation.
Yeah, I mean, when I played soccer, I had a coach that would say, if you miss a penalty kick, it's on you. It's not the goalie. Mentally, it's on you because the goal is way too big for a goalie from that distance to stop anything.
It looks ridiculous.
I mean, all you have to do is just tuck it in one of the top corners, and it's impossible to stop.
Speaking of top corners and tucking, are you nervous about the wedding? Are you getting more nervous now?
I had to jump off in 3 minutes because we have a call with the venue. Last final meeting. We're 24 days away, I think.
T-minus 24 days.
Yeah.
Like when Richard Branson went up into space.
But am I nervous? No, not nervous to get married. I'm excited to get married. I am nervous that something is going to get fucked up and it's going to ruin her day.
It's going to be me. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
Up.
But we did order the booze. We've got a lot of alcohol at this thing.
And you had to go through every song in your
order more
in the wedding.
Yeah. We have a DJ list. We had to pick songs for every single moment, and that was stressing her out. Yeah, we had to go through and pick.
Doesn't a DJ? Wait, you hired a DJ and then told him everything to play?
Yes.
He's a play man, not a DJ man.
Yes. But there were 20 specific songs we had to pick for moments, like when people enter and exit and cutting the cake and this and that, and it was ridiculous. And of course it was stressing her out because she's like, do these flow? Do these make sense?
The cake. The bride cuts the cake. I hold the Dario. The bride cuts the cake.
If you could record that, we could use it.
Broom cuts the cake. Are you so this DJ is like, all right, when you guys do this,
he doesn't want to do any work. He wants us to send him everything, and he's just going to hit play and chill.
Yep. I could be the DJ.
Oh, there you go.
You're bringing up bad.